This week I'm driving the new GWM Haval H6 Ultra Hybrid, which is the flagship variant and comes packed with features for a really great price tag. In this video, I'm going to show you how it stacks up against other medium SUV hybrid models like the Nissan X-Trail e-Power, Kia Sportage and Toyota RAV4, so stay watching. There are 6 variants for the H6 and our test model is the Ultra Hybrid, which is the flagship variant. This is priced from $45,990 drive away, which positions it well and truly as the most affordable option against its nearest rivals. On the top grade, you get a stack of features like a panoramic sunroof, heated and ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, powered tailgate, as well as a head-up display. But the full specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The Haval H6 is a good-looking medium SUV that manages to blend the functionality of its size with a sleekness that should make it appeal to a wide audience. The grille does differ from its non-hybrid models because it bleeds into the side panels instead of being the standard rectangular shape. The full suite of LEDs look particularly interesting on this car, with the rear featuring this full strip as well as these cute bunting-styled brake lights. The cabin exudes a good sense of quality with the synthetic leather trims and upholstery as well as the soft touch points throughout. There are some harder plastics which do detract from that aesthetic, but these are mostly found on the center console as well as in the back. The dashboard is stepped and there's quite a lot happening with it, with cutaways, different colored accents and shapes. You might think that it might be a little bit overwhelming at first, but I actually think it just creates some really interesting focal points. The cabin overall is very pleasant to be in. The cabin is quite roomy and I have plenty of head and legroom up front. It's also a very easy car to get in and out of, which I always like. The front seats though aren't as comfortable as what I was hoping. They're fairly well cushioned underneath, but the backs just don't offer enough support for a long journey. Even with the lumbar support fully extended, I got a sore back after driving in this. Charging options are okay up front with 2 USB-A ports and a 12-volt port, as well as a wireless charging pad to choose from. I didn't love the positioning of the USB-A ports because they're right near your leg, which for me was a little bit hard to see and access. Individual storage is very good up front. I love the big tray underneath the center console as well as this utility tray. There's lots of storage nooks up front. The 12.3-inch touchscreen multimedia system looks good and is fairly simple to use. The touchscreen itself can sometimes lag, and I don't like that you miss out on a lot of physical buttons because a lot of the functions are actually buried deep into the screen. And it's a good thing that you get wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto because you miss out on built-in satellite navigation and a digital radio in this model. Annoyingly, the USB port that actually connects to the multimedia system is on the passenger side, not the driver's side. Despite having a panoramic sunroof, I have a stack of room for my 168 centimeter height. The legroom is also excellent for this class. The general comfort of the seats is also much better than the front. They're very well cushioned and I feel quite supported in the back. Middle seaters will also be happy because the floor is flat. Amenities are okay with 2 USB-A ports, directional air vents, as well as reading lights. Individual storage isn't as great as the front, but you do get 2 mat pockets, a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders, as well as shallow bins in each door. For any families out there, you have ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats plus 3 top tethers. You might even get lucky and fit 3 child seats if you have the right child seats. The boot is a really good size at 600 litres, and if you need to bump up that storage capacity, the rear row has a 60-40 split. The level loading space makes it easy to slide gear in and out, and you also get a tyre puncture repair kit underneath the floor, and it's always handy having a power tailgate. The Ultra Hybrid has a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo-petrol hybrid engine with a 2-speed dedicated hybrid transmission. The 130 kilowatt electric motor is powered by a small 1.8 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery. The hybrid engine produces a max power output of 179 kilowatts and 530 newton meters of torque, so it's no slump in the power department, and you can definitely keep your speed consistent on hills. The power is really good in this, and the switch between the electric and petrol functions is actually pretty smooth. Occasionally though, when you're getting up to speed on the highway, it can be quite loud from the engine when it switches over. And there is something that I didn't like at all, and that's sometimes when you're braking on a hill, the car has a sliding forward sensation as if it slipped a gear, and it's not fun. The ride comfort is a little bit of a mixed bag for me, mainly because the seats I found are quite uncomfortable for a longer journey. The ride cushioning is pretty good with the suspension. You don't feel too jostled about, but there is some roll when you hit corners. At lower speeds, the engine noise is all but nil, which actually makes it feel quite refined when you're in an urban setting. However, the wind and road noise does creep up a bit when you hit higher speeds. With the steering wheel set in comfort, it's pretty easy to maneuver in the city, but the 12-meter turning circle does make it feel a bit clunky in a tight car space. That being said, it's got a really super clear 360-degree view camera system, as well as front and rear parking sensors, so it's not too difficult to park. The official combined fuel cycle is 5.2 litres per 100 kilometres, and I was actually pretty surprised that I wasn't too far off with my real world usage at 6 litres. I would expect that usage to be a little bit lower in an urban setting because I mostly did open road driving. Based on the official combined cycle and the 61 litre fuel tank, you'll get a really good driving range of 1,173 kilometres out of this, which makes this a perfect road tripper. The Ultra Hybrid is not a plug-in hybrid, and it regains its battery percentage via the engine and regen braking. I actually think it's really good at this process because after 230 kilometres of driving, I was only down to 91%. In this grey level, the H6 comes with a good suite of safety features, including a biggie like the rear cross traffic alert, which is exclusive to the Ultra models. The lane keeping aid was a little bit sensitive for my liking because it did make for a jerky on-road experience. The H6 comes with a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from testing done in 2022 and has 7 airbags, including a front center airbag. Individual assessment scores for the adult and child protection were all high at 90 and 88% respectively. The full safety specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The affordability is extended to the ongoing cost for the H6, with it coming with a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is above average for the class. The battery is covered by an 8-year term, and you also get a 5-year cap price servicing program, where services average just $330, which is quite competitive. Servicing intervals are reasonable at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first, and you also get complimentary 5 years roadside assistance through Allianz Global Assistance. If you're looking for an affordable and well-equipped medium SUV hybrid, the GWM Haval H6 Ultra Hybrid is definitely one to consider. I personally prefer the on-road driving experience and the multimedia systems of some of its rivals, but you get a lot for your money here, and the ongoing costs are great, so this gets a 7.9 out of 10 from me. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.